Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a big one for you. I hope I can deliver it properly to you today. Definitely FDR and JFK came up in my read today, as well as Marilyn. And if you could just come with me on this journey, I'll tell you what I got, okay? So it is February 18th, 2019. The 18th is, of course, of the moon, and we have the full moon coming up here. It's all about release. And then we have the day adding up to 32, which is that Six of Wands energy of the traditional message is good news, but it's success and attention, the journey, having those followers, coming home from the war. It's all of those energies. So with the moon of the feminine, those darker energies, okay? So a lot of emotional energies might come up around this stuff. And feeling like a failure, because you also have the negative sides of those, the polarity of those energies. So there may be some emotions that definitely come up for release tonight, and Virgo's all about perfection, so, and none of us can be perfect, so there may be a lot of release here, okay? So just kind of expect it, and then when it comes, you know, it won't be such a surprise. But don't assume it's going to happen, because you may be fine, actually. It just depends on your wounds and your situation right now. But as we get into those energies, I didn't get enough sleep last night. I woke up too early and I couldn't go back to sleep. And as I was shuffling, my favorite things came up from The Sound of Music, and that's Rodgers and Hammerstein. Sound of Music was 1959. 59 came up again today somewhere. 59 is that Five of Swords, the brain wars, the war within your own mind, but also can be the enemy type mentality. And definitely having a lot of lower back pain too, which I do have a back injury, but most of the time I'm fine these days. But as this full moon was coming up this week, it's really starting to hurt more, my lower back. Actually, yesterday it was more in my hips, and today it's my lower back. So, as the Sound of Music and my favorite things came up, while I was shuffling for the union read, when the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad, right? But I was also guided to write down all the favorite things, okay? So raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, cream-colored ponies and crisp... Oh, nope, I'm sorry. I didn't write down the verse, so... But anyway, you get the idea. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells, and schnitzel and noodles. Wild geese that fly, and I just brought up about the geese pictures that came up for me yesterday, that fly with the moon on their wings. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things, okay? So that I was called to bring them up. And this morning, when I looked in on my inner child and my masculine's inner child, I was getting that the feminine was in the center, like in the union space, but lounging by herself, like, you know, one of those queen chairs, you know, like the Empress. The Lady of Luxury is what I wrote down. And I was looking, I couldn't find where's the masculine. And then, there he is. So he was hiding on his side, on the side of the bed with that, but he was younger. He was the younger kid, saying, "No, I don't wanna." So he was coming up with that energy. You know, kind of like having a temper tantrum, stomping his feet. He doesn't wanna try today. But she was fine. So, and also if you have pain like what I'm getting today with my back injury pain, feel into it to see what it brings up for you. For me, it's definitely some root issues with my mother probably, and forgiveness and all that kind of thing. So feel into your own issues to see what might come up for you to release at this full moon. So as we get into the read, it was done at 9:04 this morning, and it took me this long. I mean, I just finished doing it. I mean, it was so much coming through. I'm very drained right now, just from all the information coming up, but I'm good. All right, so 9:04 was the read. The only major arcana that came up were Karma and the Tower. All right, so there's definitely some stuff coming up here. There were 3 wands, 2 pentacles, 4 cups. The only court card was the King of Cups, and also the card after the read was the Page of Pentacles, the card after the read that I was pulled. So that was kind of like a side note to the read, and it definitely could be kid related, but it's also about opportunities. The message from the coding was all about moderation and spiritual partnership today. And I have to tell you, the tower came up in 4 decks today. So there's definitely tower energy here. And 2 of the towers at least were being covered up by other cards. So it was interesting. It's like there's an attempt of cover-up of this tower situation that's going on. And then the coding that came up was all about that, I want to say Nai or Ni from Monty Python, right? Which is a show of your power, which is ego. But that energy was coming up around karma. And the different things that came up was expressing ego power to the world, soulmate karma, the Ite hour, and I was getting like a pirate, and I wrote down pirate smile as well, which actually came up a few days back with my friend reminding me about something that came up for us and our twins. But Ite, like a pirate would say, okay? Or it could be, take it the way, you might hear it as well. But it's coming up around a soulmate and karma, the Ite hour. So instead of the 8th hour, like the 11th hour, it was the Ite hour, the pirate hour. Power of the High Priestess and the Magician together. Karma to the nth degree. Stay at your 0 point. We have the 8 coming up here. Of our or you are your moderation or spiritual partners. But I was getting you guys are the moderators as the twins. Power of the 2 angels. Regarding karma, and then the Light FM came up, which is actually in North Carolina, in the Asheville, North Carolina area. So that came up, and I've been going back and forth looking in North Carolina, so that was kind of cool that they came up. The Blue Ridge Broadcasting in Black Mountain, North Carolina, which is the Asheville area, which is a very spiritual town. The Light FM, though, was the radio station that came up. I believe, yeah, it's a radio station. But also in that came up CarMax and CarMath, which I didn't know what that was, but that's rail cars. So both of those things came up, I guess, to check your facts if you're buying a car or you're buying rail cars for a train, check your trains. And that came up yesterday as turned over. So there may be something about a train you shouldn't get on. But like I said, as the angels together are moderators for this situation that's coming in with the tower energies. So stay at your 0 point and stay calm amidst all the other stuff that's going on around you. The numbers that came up were, well, the whole number 2142 came up, 2142. The number 8, 2150 as well, 17, 22, 44, 88, the number 10, 12, 124, 24, and 324. And of course 24 is the Queen of Wands, 44 is that 4 of Cups, that mastering energy, 10 is the Wheel, 22 is the Fool, 17 is the Star, 8 is Strength, and 12 is Wisdom. Okay, so as we get into the read, because there's a lot that comes up in here too, so I want to get right into it. Standing up to deception, or not wanting to get up or do something today, needing clarity on why you're feeling this way, maybe unhappy or lack of satisfaction, but feel into it, whatever it may be. Twin flames with a little purge or stress coming out due to the imbalance between them, the masculine and the feminine, one flame higher than the other, and that could be in any situation, whether it's the masculine and feminine or twin flame friends, whatever, but those issues are coming up here as stress, and that may be coming out, like for me, in my lower back. And also that, Nai or Ni, the ego energy of showing your power and your prowess coming out. It's flaring up, especially for the masculine, okay, because that's a masculine trait. It can be in the feminine, but it's that masculine trait, so it's going to be more expressed in the masculine. So there's new passion that's out and seen, watering it with love for growth. May want to buy some flowers and plant seeds. Opportunity to clear the field, stretch your legs, and see what you've been missing. Cotton fields in the south. Why? White horses at full stride reveal two bare trees together, even though there is plenty to eat on the other side. And so here slavery was coming up. Coveting and hoarding in order to show pride above another, better, and spirits connecting, better, more worthy, all right? So this is coming up as the slave owners and the slave, and bringing up the attributes. Coveting and hoarding in order to show pride above another, so that you're better than someone else, that you're more worthy. White horses, white people, white cotton like the pure driven snow and angels. All the associations of separatism and prejudice. The contrast only a test to rise above your differences. Those humbled find gratefulness for the small things and song. Those who sought revenge only had it brought back to them. And now, after thousands of years, those meek shall inherit the earth. And then I was getting Forrest Gump. To fight is to lose, and Spirit's connecting with me. To fight is to lose, to rise is to ascend to the next level in the game in order to get back to love. Why do you think those leaders of peace were kings and Lincolns and Mahatma, which means great, Dalai Lama, which means ocean guru, and Buddha means awakened. Gautama means the best ox, your humble servant. Albert for Albert Einstein. So in ranker.com there came up a list of all of the some of the top peacemakers, which weren't your traditional ones. And Albert Einstein was top on the list. And Albert means noble or bright. So Albert Einstein came up, and I just wanted to give props to some of these people, so I'm going to list some of them for you. Albert Einstein, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, Harry Belafonte, Martin Niemöller, of course Gandhi, Daniel Ellsberg, Francis Crowe, Martin Luther King Jr., Jane Fonda, Dick Gregory, Rigoberta Menchie, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Abby Hoffman, Nelson Mandela, Emma Goldman, Bob Marley, Andrew Carnegie, Jane Addams, Robert F. Kennedy, Jeanette Rankin, Naomi Chomsky, George Harris, Ron Kovic, and Yoko Ono and Ringo Starr. So I'm sorry if I messed up anyone's names. I'm terrible with that stuff. Okay, so and I looked up and I did some of their numbers for their birth dates, which most of them made sense. Like Martin Luther King was January 15th, 29, which is a 37, is the King of Cups. That was his lesson. For Lincoln, it was 41, which is the Ace of Cups, his lesson. For Albert Einstein, it was 42, which is the Two of Cups, right, which was his lesson. That was very interesting. Gandhi was 36, which was the 10 of Wands, that burden. So that's Gandhi's lesson, was that physical burden, which, the starvation and all that kind of stuff. And the Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lama now is the 14th, which is the temperance card of the angels, is the 14th now. Started in 1937, which is also 37 is the King of Cups. But his date of birth adds up to 31, which is that 5 of Wands, that expansion energy. And there's something else I saw with the Tibetan monks that they use with the number 5, actually. So I was interested because they use that because it's the expansion energy. I don't know if they're aware of it. Which I'm sure they probably are. But then Forrest comes up, right? Forrest Gump. And Forrest means dweller near the woods, which I found very interesting because woods is like that 10 of Wands, right? The darkness, getting through the woods, seeing the trees through the forest. But forest means dweller near the woods. It's an old French name. And gump means, you know, geeky, fool, clumsy. And sense was one of the words as well, because they don't have common sense. They have feeling sense. It's not logical, it's heart sense. So I love that about gump. It's also considered a dull-witted person. So a geeky, clumsy fool with sense, but no common sense, who dwells near the woods. Perfect. All right, so who dwells near, you know, goes near the place of the purge, you know, which is the wood, the dark woods, but stays outside the woods. You know, that's that 0 point. So I love the parallel here. So then FDR came up, because as you notice, when the presidents came up for me the other day, Roosevelt didn't come up, but for most lists, he's in the top 3, right? So his birthday was January 30th, 1882, which equals 50, which is the 10 of Cups. So it's that emotional fulfillment. He was the 32nd president, 1933 to 45. He was the only president in term for 3 terms, but he was actually in his 4th term when he died. He had just started. And also of the ones that I'd mentioned before, they were all Republican-oriented. FDR and JFK were both Democrats. So of course FDR, you know, they thought he had polio, but it was whatever paralytic illness he had. And he was in office during that whole time of you know, World War II and Pearl Harbor, you know, so he went through all the Great Depression in World War II, and he did 3 to 4 terms. Pretty amazing man, okay? So he won that 4th term, but died 11 weeks into it, the 4th term. And then World War II literally ended a few months after his death. So, you know, it was like, it definitely was his destiny there, and Spirit's connecting with me. So that was, and World War II was like 39 to 45. And then of course FDR had a brother, Teddy, Teddy was the 26th president, and then JFK also had a Teddy. You know, they both had their teddy bears. JFK and Taft were coming up as the only ones that were buried in Arlington Cemetery. But JFK was the 35th president. 35 is the wounded warrior. It's also the energy of Mary Magdalene. And I bring this up because well, he dealt with the Cold War and the Russians, and he was the only Catholic president to this day. And JFK's father was FDR's U.S. ambassador to the court of St. James, came up online as well. He was, and then I was getting, the reason JFK came up, and Spirit was connecting with me about JFK, because I have no affinity, you know, one way or the other. And I was getting that he was definitely in love with Marilyn Monroe. His lesson to learn was what it is to feel, what it feels like to be a woman in deep mourning. That was his lesson. So now, notice that both FDR and JFK both had teddy bears to lean on. Alright, so we get into this more. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. So back to the world and coming full circle here. So back to the read. So there's an opportunity to make things grow with love. The bull and the lion scowl while Archangel Michael and Thoth have a discussion about them. Jesus rushes in with more truth just in case they are still wondering. All right, so if people are still saying they don't know enough to do what they need to do, it was showing me like Michael and Thoth are having this talk, and Jesus like, oh my God, like, and he's coming in with more truth to make you get it. Taken down by your own truth. This is the masculine energy coming through. The love of a friend. To the present, to be present and awake. But when I wrote present, I was getting president. All right? To be taken down by their own truth, the love of a friend. To be president and awake would have killed him in the end, and did. All right? And that was in reference to JFK. Energies were not conducive then to holding this light. Kennedy and Twinkle Toes were twins. JFK and Marilyn Monroe. And then and Spirit's connecting with me. When I looked it up online, because I really don't know I looked up Marilyn at one point because I do have an affinity towards Marilyn. I have a connection there somewhere. But as soon as I put in I was getting Twinkle Toes. And when I put that in, I got Kennedy Dance Company. 2001 West Good Hope Road, 13825 West Burleigh, Brookfield, Wisconsin, 53005. All right. And I was getting like connection the whole time I was getting this information. So when I didn't know that there was anything about Twinkle Toes with Marilyn, but I knew that was coming up about JFK and Marilyn, so I wanted to piece it together, and that's why I went online. And Marilyn's quote is, "We are all of us stars, and we deserve to twinkle. Twinkle toes." And I was starting to cry, you know, when I was getting this information. This was at 11:01. And she says, "Thank you for confirming that and staying present, Mr. President." He couldn't be in his truth and walked right over her. So she was saying this, you know, getting that energy that I get when I do the reads with the red boots, I'm going to walk right over him. He was saying that about Kennedy, that he walked right over her. She says to the Divine Masculine, "Please wake up. There's already too much death and heartbreak in the world." I'm starting to cry again. "Please wake up and stand in your truth. Remember that he may have taken me down, but then he was too." And then John Wilkes Booth came up, and then, of course, Lee Harvey Oswald about the assassinations. And so Lee Harvey Oswald was never really proven. You know, a lot of people suspected that that whatever they came out with wasn't the case. But just so you know, Marilyn died 8/5, or that's when she was found anyway. It was August 5th, 1962. She was buried on Lionsgate, 8/8, 1962. So then, as I'm getting the assassinations and the assassins, I did a what's it called? I can't think of the word. It'll come to me in a second. Anyway, I wrote down a code for JFK to see what I would get. And the symbol that I got, which I'd done before, was very, very much the same shape as the twins that I've gotten before. And the shape actually was like M and J, like from Mary Magdalene and Jesus. And the only difference between them was that for JFK there was no climb. Instead, he decided to walk the tightrope, which was the message that I was getting. So JFK literally said that nobody can stop an assassination just before he was shot. So I looked that up because I read that from something else I got. And so he was going to Texas, and so they had sent him there was a news article of them welcoming Mr. Kennedy to Texas. And then he says to Jackie, "We're heading in to Nut Country today, so if someone wants to shoot me from a window with a rifle, nobody can stop it, so why worry about it?" This is Kennedy. And also Kennedy, one of his favorite poems he used to have her recite to him all the time was called "I Have a Rendezvous with Death" by Alan Seeger. One of his favorite poems. And I'm going to read that to you in a second. But then I wanted to do their numbers because I remembered, I think I'd done JFK's numbers before because his soul number is the same as mine. So I feel like I have an affinity toward him in that way, so I can kind of understand who he is. And it wasn't just his soul number, but his outer personality and destiny number weren't the same 2 digits as mine, but they were the same, excuse me. He wants to say something. It's the same formatting, like we're both 11, 6, 8 in our soul number, outer personality number, and destiny number. It's just his outer personality number is 69, whereas mine's 42, and his destiny number is 1078, and mine's 88. His life lesson number is 527, which is the Queen of Swords. His lesson was to understand what it is to feel extreme grief. And his grief was that he was in love with Marilyn Monroe, but he could never have done that at that time because the energy wasn't right and it never would have been accepted. So you can certainly parallel that, okay? Being that Jackie was his wife, right? And everyone loved them as a couple. There's no way, and Spirit's connecting with me very strongly, that it would have been accepted at that point. But my point being is that JFK had extreme guilt over Marilyn's death because he knows that he caused her death. And even if he hadn't been shot that day, and I truly believe that he did have a death wish, and if he didn't hire his own assassin, that he was going to die anyway, if that hadn't happened that day. Because he had, you know, as we know as the twins, whatever your subconscious energies are, that's what you pull in, and he did have that death wish within him. And that's what he pulled in, and that's why he died. But I'm getting very strongly that she was his twin. He had no fear because of the pain he was in. And you guys all get that. And you notice the parallel to that number one, that he was JFK and Jackie, right? Like the karmic is always similar to the, you know, seems like twins with their partner, but it's actually not the twin. And then Marilyn Monroe changed her name to Marilyn Monroe, MM, Mary Magdalene, okay? And her soul number is 35, the Wounded Warrior, which comes up as Mary Magdalene, okay? That was her true soul number from Norma Jean Mortensen. So her soul number is 35, her outer personality was 5. So she, I mean, it was 50, it was that 10 of cups. So she looked like home. Whose lesson was that? Where did I see 50? I don't know. Oh, FDR went into office January 30th, 1882, which was 50. Obviously, all right, get that he went into office with on the day of the energy of 50, which is ultimate emotional fulfillment. He moved into his home, literally. He was there for 4 terms. And everything goes in 4 cycles, just like the leap year. That's a completion. So her outer personality number was 50. So people saw her, they saw emotional fulfillment in her. But she was actually the wounded warrior with great burdens. Her life lesson number was 25 of the Knight of Wands, you know. Her lesson was to be that sex pot. But her power was in was in being driven, in being all about her. But her destiny was 85-4, was that 13. 13 is death. So, and then more of this comes up a little bit. The underlying energies signs were Pisces upright, Scorpio upright, Virgo reversed, Cancer reversed, Gemini reversed, and then Aries was neutral. I'm not sure which way it was. Healing, family issues came up for the underlying energies for the union. Honeymoon was beneath that. So after taking time away, whether it was the karmic, the Divine Feminine's family or Divine Masculine's family, or them that they're together now, there was some time away, and then healing, it was to heal family issues. Some Divine Masculines may shy away from the public eye because they've been assassinated, and that's in their DNA. Or the Emperor is being seen with bride for status purposes only right now, okay? Shocking reveal that the king that has the King of Pentacles down on all fours, asking for mercy in deep connection. Left butt and chocolates and ice cream too much to be coincidence. And now this, he may have been tempted, but he didn't touch. But the connection is undeniable, shadowing every step. Plie, chassé, do-si-do, knees turned out, knees turned in, and pillar between them. Harsh truths on evening news or online, cracking the whip with the children who want to know more. The Emperor and the King of Pentacles look identical in this picture. And love partnership comes up there for the numerology deck as very significant, number 26, which is the Page of Wands. And also beneath that was domestic harmony, 46, the Six of Cups. Okay, the inner children of the twins, or your actual inner children, and the love partnership. Okay, there's a heavy burden of the perfect little family and busy little bees, busy little bodies. Or someone may have a bee manifestation in their attic, perhaps. Feet caught in the spokes of his own liberation for the masculine. Rod hockey table, screwed up. And then I got Chain of Mercy, which I'd never heard that book before, but it's a book. Chain of Mercy. It's a book about an accident that killed someone's son after a drunken fury of someone with his girlfriend. So someone had a fight with their girlfriend and got drunk about her having an abortion, and kills a young man accidentally driving. And then it's about his way back to Jesus, but that was called Chain of Mercy. Negative self-talk, unworthiness. So this is coming up for some of the Divine Masculine. Negative self-talk and unworthiness, unable to see another perspective, and you can see by this example. Creates a death wish, like Kennedy. No way out but up, through the teal checkered ceiling, candy striped. And when I went to write candy striped, I wrote candy stripped. So candy stripper, there's some kind of stripper coming up here as well. So someone creating a death wish, no way out but up. You can understand that when you feel trapped. Through the teal checkered ceiling, candy striper or candy stripper, with leotards. When I wrote leotards, I was getting leotards, like someone calling a Leo a tard. And it could be a stripper too, pointing at a certain one. And I was getting this teal. The lighter color, like I was seeing checks on the ceiling, so the lighter color, and it feels like I was guiding someone to where something is. So if someone has teal on their ceiling or just tile of different colored teal, like lighter and darker ones, it's the lighter panel to the left, about a foot apart, in the right lower corner. Someone trapped and going to get stung if they don't get out now. Okay, that's what I was called to do. Impatience between flames, death and completion come up here. This is all still the underlying energy. There's no way around it. Be still, my heart. After holiday and healing, family issues, there's time for connection and love partnership. Recently here, Divine Masculine's heart coming out guns blazing after isolating, after over-isolating. No more imbalance in my life, he proclaims. The foundation is work with crystals and spending time outside to hold on to energy, play ball, no affection, allowing healing of body and abandonment wounds. And I was definitely getting this for the masculine, not the feminine, although it can include some of the feminine. Centrally for the union is the Two of Cups. Close connection. The Emperor's out of control with negative self-talk, and that's relating to what they were paralleling to this Chain of Mercy book. There's something that he can't forgive himself for. So it's the Emperor coming up reversed in negative self-talk, but this could also be someone separate, like a father of the Divine Masculine or feminine. So this Emperor's in negative self-talk or being abusive about the Queen of Cups and King of Pentacles being together, having a nice talk without hurting each other with control. So we have a King of Pentacles and Queen of Cups. I'm definitely getting as the masculine and the feminine together. It doesn't have to be that. Most of the energy is the it's the union spread, and the center of the reed is the Two of Cups with the Four of Wands above it, okay, and the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, which are very much the energies of the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. So there are definitely Divine Masculine and Feminines coming together, starting over in love. The challenge being karma, or the karmic, starting over in love, confessing the new passion and letting go of holding back expressing his feelings and keeping quiet to control the situation, with Dream Girl grounding Wounded Warrior defensiveness. So that was at 12:12. And of course couscous just came up. Couscous for someone? Couscous. And I never think of couscous because I don't really like couscous. So that's up for someone. All right, so the wounded warrior definitely can come up as both the masculine or the feminine, especially since Marilyn just came up as the wounded warrior. Marilyn could be one of the masculines now, or feminines, okay? So now, in the present, in the crowning the reed was 4 flames, that 4 wands, with 2 of the flames showing, the twin flames. Unfair drain of energy, of rejection and grief from the Knight of Wands flirtation. And prowess of the masculine, creating imbalance. But it doesn't have to be the masculine. The King of Wands here, I mean the King of Wands didn't come up in this read at all. But this Knight of Wands did. And the Knight of Wands can definitely, it can be a masculine, but it also could be the Queen of Wands, which doesn't have to be the marital partner. It could actually be a third party in a marital party. So you could be a 4th person in a 3-way situation. So if someone's married or partnered, there could be someone he's been cheating with, and it could have been over many, many years. It may or may not be with them still, but that energy may still be with him. And then, so you have the partner, a third partner, and then the twins. So that's some situations, not all, obviously. And they don't have to be married either. It could just be a partner who's got another lover on the side and the Divine Feminine. So there's all 4 queens came up in this read. So again, the 4 flames with 2 showing, unfair drain of energy of rejection and grief from the Knight of Wands flirtation and prowess. So someone who's very, being a player, creating imbalance, so whether it was a masculine or feminine, either way. The King of Cups is choosing a path, or maybe offered one choice or the other, an opportunity, but rejected it, praying that it's the right decision. Up Knights trying to rise above impatience and seeing the other couples together while wanting to reignite the flame, but conflicted on how. Now, mind you, the King of Cups can be a masculine, but I was definitely getting it more as the karmic to the Divine Feminine, because the King of Cups came up multiple times. But he's upright. Remembering that love and feeling came up here. That love and feeling, okay. So the King of Cups could be remembering that love and feeling that he tossed away. So there's a couple different situations here. Could be the masculine tossing the feminine away, or the karmic having tossed someone else away trying to keep his marriage together, or vice versa. Now wanting a new life with the Queen of Pentacles to get carried away, if she'll have him, fantasy angel with 2 spoons of sugar, just the right amount, or that he tossed away and then restarted a new life with the Queen of Pentacles partner he was with already, in order for to keep his money in justice and to get justice. But as far as if this was the masculine talking about his feminine that he tossed away, he now wants a new life with her to get carried away if she'll have him. Fantasy angel with 2 spoons of sugar, just the right amount. And then I was seeing the King of Pentacles and Queen of Cups blushing, hiding while making out in 2 different... Sorry, I dropped my rock. I saw that King of Pentacles and Queen of Cups are together in 2 spots in the read. Both the same. In one of the spots, they're being covered like they're hiding behind it to kiss. But in the other situation, if it's not the Divine Masculine and Feminine together, it could be the karmic with the masculine, or the Divine Feminine with her karmic, like not showing their faces to the public because they're going through a lot of grief with their situation, so they don't want to be seen. So those are the 2 situations coming up, but it came up twice, the King of Pentacles and Queen of Cups together in 2 different places in the read. Okay. So in seeing these 2 together, there's some kind of angel explosion or sudden event, while someone, actually a friend, is standing guard. Soon the Tower comes in, and this could definitely be Taurus and Aries upside down. In a divorce, it could be divorce and spiritual insecurities coming up. bringing out manipulation, as moving back to dysfunctional family or parents suddenly, or finding peace in spending all their money. So there's definitely some tower situation here, and I'm definitely getting a situation between the sub-family and the over-family. All right, so the parental family of one or the other, and then the immediate family of the divine masculine and divine feminine and their kids. Okay, there's definitely some kind of difficulties between them. So which one it is, I don't know. But that's been coming up as a common theme this week between the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. There's some kind of not getting along here, not seeing eye to eye. But it also could be within your own family, though. I was definitely getting some of the masculines leaving their marriage or partnership to move in with their parents because they're done. They're not going to be there anymore. But it's not a good place either to be with their parents, but like they have to do it for now. So that's one of the situations I was getting. Finding peace in their dysfunctional family. Suddenly, this is all sudden because it's the Tower coming in. Or finding peace in spending all their money, so somebody's spending their partner's money or their family's money, that kind of thing. Union, or to make themselves feel better or to get back at them. Union is coming up as being seen as the Ace of Cups for both. Okay, overworking to get done, but must focus on the call to action at hand, or you guys will lose focus, the masculine and the feminine. Must master insincerity and jealousy, ignorance, or not knowing, unaware. The divine masculine may be jealous, divine feminine aware of it. And the energies coming up here is release X, wedding, and very soon for the union. Release your ex, wedding, which means this situation involves marriage, and then very soon. Around the union, or how it is seen, the King of Cups with left eye out watching, completely free now after work or left job, and or left a group for love. So this can be the masculine, but also can be the karmic of the divine feminine. And it can be someone else in your life as well, but this is around the union, so there can be a lot of people involved here. But I wasn't specifically getting him for the masculine here. Getting him as a karmic who is up right now. He's not being manipulative so much anymore, but he may actually have a new girlfriend, and now he really has a reason to want to get out. So that was coming up for me. The masculine and feminine for the union need to clear blocks of passion, arrows of love expressing feelings, getting clear on the Queen of Wands, however she plays into your situation. That's a block that needs to be cleared. Trapped in patterns or imbalances, verbal abuse and or lying and arrogance. Okay, so all these things you need to clear. Moderation came up, as well as spiritual partnership, but even more so compassion and spirituality for both the masculine and feminine. Sudden jealousy in a work partnership or estranged partners. Family top dog getting all the light in a settlement of divorce or just justice. Of parent or parents' family versus the smaller one, the immediate family. There's a detox of the Knight of Wands player in love and giving up all his old ways. Okay, so like I said, it can be the Knight of Wands can be a masculine or a feminine, but whoever it is, it's coming up constantly because it's someone who's been a player and they're changing their ways because they're in love. Angel with sudden guilt about success and attention, even arrogance and verbal abuse due to ego at work, even playing the field with wealthy women while partner home jealous, now divorced or divorcing, or breaking up, whatever the situation. The Page of Pentacles is depressed or losing hope about all the stuff and money they may lose in a divorce or a breakup, but focusing on psychic abilities as an opportunity for true emotional happiness. Dumping attachments to superficial love and superficial things. The Queen of Swords reversed may be verbal abuse, healing and forgiving, or an opportunity to wake up, or an opportunity to make up for having hurt the divine feminine, not speaking or healing. The Queen of Pentacles may be over crying and stress in the aftermath of disaster and things having fallen apart. Needing courage and or an opportunity or an invite or possibly money due to someone without a car or had to cancel a move or a trip or needs a home. Or it could just be a Leo who's out of control without the car or money, while the rest of family is really happy emotionally and she's pissed. There may be a child trying to manipulate the family to get back together, or actually to get them to break apart because they're sick of living with them like that, and or depressed about losing their perks of the relationship. All four queens were here, like I said. Looks like the Queen of Cups is the Divine Feminine at the heart of the read with the King of Pentacles. I feel that the King of Cups may be a karmic as well as the Queen of Pentacles here, and less or so the Queen of Wands as a block to clear. Okay, the sexy woman, you know, the one who's usually seen as the husband stealer is the Queen of Wands, because she's the one who's sexy and very popular and is very social, all that kind of thing. But she's also got a really bad temper. So the Queen of Pentacles is upright, and the Queen of Wands are upright in this read. They could also be a sister or a mother involved with the situation. The Queen of Swords looks like a liar or verbal abuser, or could just be someone in extreme mourning a loss of a love and trying to heal and forgive. So it could be the Divine Feminine, it could be the karmic, it could be a sister or a mother or a friend. She may, you know, because I mean, it could be a third party in addition to the Divine Feminine in some situations. She may be jealous of another psychic abilities too. So this could be definitely a karmic who may be jealous of the feminine here. It could also be the feminine. The Emperor may be pissed about the Queen of Cups and the King of Pentacles together. And like I said, there were no King of Wands here at all, but the Knight of Wands is up here ×3, which could be a King of Wands. Where the King of Swords is going away from the matter, because the King of Swords wasn't really involved in the read at all. He was reversed in the underlying energy, but far back in the deck. Not involved presently. Or the Emperor reversed is that King of Swords. Okay? And the Queen of Swords reversed is coming up as possibly an Aquarius who gives money. So it could be the Empress, the mother, who is very emotionally detached and can be very negative when she's reversed. So that's what I was getting to. There could definitely be a sub-family with parental family issue, or a sub-company with a parent company issue. And so this Empress, they're both coming up like negative energy here. The Emperor is the King of Swords, and the Empress is the Queen of Swords. Is really nasty energy. But I was getting it more parental, not around the Divine Masculine. The Queen of Wands can be a third party, not the Divine Feminine, can be, but it can be someone separate, like I said. And now the Divine Masculine feels guilty for hurting the Queen of Pentacles, who may be their marital partner and kids, as well as the Queen of Cups, Divine Feminine, with this other person. Offered to love, put him in a prison. So the offer of the Divine Feminine's love, or this other third party's love, put him in a prison until he was able to clear on his sovereign, the feminine. Meanwhile, finding peace in his own deliberation, which could just be him and with his current partner or by himself. But now the Tower comes in. Pow, right? The Knight of Wands could be the Queen of Wands, as well as someone not going away. Because this is coming up as player energy. Two flames at work on self-love, new love, and unconditional love. The Divine Masculine's heart is in connection. The challenge being the karmic tower of heated exchange at home and in family, and with mischievous kids. The twin flames are at work, with love spilling over to friends and family. Divine Masculine's heart is of the union, but must get past the karmic tower, holding back feelings at home and with family, kids with psychic abilities, and also his own psychic opportunities. The twin flame Divine Masculine working on connection of the twin flame union while the karmic situation goes on. New love suddenly destroys family, and or karmic masculine has a new girl or girls, he may be just having sex now, or in a heated exchange with his own Divine Feminine family and kids, and or kids. Okay, so there's multiple situations coming up here. Okay. All right, so I'm kind of interested to see what the oracle cards bring up as far as the stuff that came up. So let's see here. And I'm going to show you the read before I forget to do that. There's something else I wanted to read. This is JFK's poem that he liked. I have a rendezvous with death. I have a rendezvous with death. At some disputed barricade, when spring comes back with rustling shade and apple blossoms fill the air, I have a rendezvous with death. When spring brings back blue days and fair, it may be he shall take my hand and lead me into his dark land, and close my eyes and quench my breath. It may be I shall pass him still. I have a rendezvous with death. On some scarred slope of battered hill, when spring comes round again this year, and the first meadow flowers appear, God knows 'twere better to be deep, pillowed in silk and scented down, where love throbs out in blissful sleep, pulse nigh to pulse and breath to breath, where hushed awakenings are dear, but I have a rendezvous with death. That's making me want to cry again. At midnight in some flaming town, when spring trips north again this year, and I to my pledged word am true, I shall not fail that rendezvous. Alright, so maybe it was just his contract, or maybe he did have a death wish, but I was definitely getting he was in extreme pain over Marilyn Monroe's death. And I truly feel, I was getting from her that she was his twin. So, and I want to point out in this poem, we have blue days here and fair, that it's when spring brings back blue days and fair, and we're coming up on that right now. And he's talking about how, you know, of course it's better to be cuddled up with the one you love, but he had responsibilities like war. They were talking about war. But also came up Nye came up. Where was it? Sorry, I was having trouble reading it. My eyes are failing me. Yes, alright, so where love throbs out in blissful sleep. Pulse, nigh to pulse. Okay, and nigh came up in the coding today, which had nothing to do with this, me pulling this poem up. Okay, so anyway, you can read that online if you'd like to. I want to see if there's anything else I wanted to and I wanted to read you about Einstein. There's no real definition for the name Einstein, right? But there's a medical definition. The medical definition of Einstein is the radiant energy of a given frequency required to effect the complete photochemical transformation of 1 mole of a photosensitive substance being equal to about 0.004 ERG second times the frequency in question. So I figured someone in science might actually like that and the parallel to the twins. Okay. Alright, so now we gotta pull some cards for you guys and see what comes up. Take a deep breath, please. Deep breath. I don't know why I've been wearing like man shirts. Like my son left a whole bunch of stuff home, so I wears his big shirts, you know. Usually just, you know, for night shirts or something. But take a deep breath. Alright, so today, and the wind is blowing very strongly just now. There's like gusts of wind. I felt like it was the tornado in The Wizard of Oz. And when I went out, actually, before I did the read, I felt like that because I was trying to get in and I couldn't close the door. I had to pull it shut, and I was getting the tornado in The Wizard of Oz. Alright, so for today, February 18, 2019, for everyone watching, and the best and highest good of all those concerned, I'm asking Jesus and Mary Magdalene, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? What do we need to know about FDR and JFK that needs to come up here? And what does everyone need to know and need to learn? the whole deck just poured out on me. Seriously. These two, I'm not going to use these, I'm going to reshuffle, but the gold and silver violet flame and the gold and silver cloak both came out together, separate from the rest of the deck. They are 4 and 26. 4 is the Emperor, and 26 is the Page of Wands. Okay, and that much references, for me, I've said that before, the Emperor and his inner child. So the Emperor and the Page of Wands. Boys and their toys. Alright, from Jesus and Mary Magdalene, please. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn about what we talked about today, about Marilyn and JFK and FDR? What is it you want us to know? Alright, Paul the Venetian is at the bottom, which is 37, which is the King of Cups. And the underlying energy for Paul the Venetian is, I express myself creatively and harmoniously, which came up yesterday about making sure you have a creative outlet. And here 3 cards came up. First, and the phone's ringing. First one is Marco 47, which is the 7 of Cups, heaven in their eyes, synchronicities. Isis is 38, the Queen of Cups, and 15, which is water, and the Devil. Okay, so Queen of Cups. So not only a Queen of Cups is the twin representative, but it's Isis, and Marilyn Monroe was very much about the Queen of Cups being a feminine twin, right? And JFK's soul number was 38, the Queen of Cups. So it's definitely being represented here in the situation. All right, Marco says, that's 47:11. Master Marco represents the highest galactic confederation or system, the capital of which is on Saturn. He liaises with Commander Ashtar of the Intergalactic Fleet to bring us the wisdom and knowledge held by stellar cultures. He also assists Hilarion on the 5th ray of technology, science, and knowledge to enable people to expand their higher mental abilities and develop spiritual technology for the future. Your guidance is to open your mind to communications and connections from other star systems and universes, and ask Marco to assist and protect you. The affirmation is, I am open to wisdom from the stars. And I was just getting famous people. And it's making me cry because it's Marilyn coming through. And I wanted to say before I forget, the reason FDR came up today is because I didn't mention him the other day with the presidents, because they wanted to give him a separate tribute. That was for FDR. And it's President's Day, right? And that came up right about the stars, okay? So it was a star. Alright. Anyone who can last in the presidency for more than 1 term, let alone 4 terms. Yeah, that's not easy. Alright, Isis, 38. Illumined Master Isis was Mara and Lemuria. Isis, the High Priestess of Atlantis, mother of Horus in Egypt, and Mary, mother of Jesus. She was always overlit by the universal angel Mary, who helped Isis pass her initiations and ascend in each lifetime. This card reminds you of the power of the feminine. Face your challenges with equanimity and courage, knowing you are helped by angels. Keep your light bright and your energy pure no matter what, and this will enable you to influence many on their ascension path. Remember that there is always a greater plan. And the affirmation is, I face my challenges with calm and strength. Alright, so we have the storm. The energy's whipping up right now. It's literally whipping up outside, okay? And your job is to be the moderators. And that you always have help. Okay, so call on your angels when you need them. Or whomever, masters. ETs. Okay, so water, number 15 says that water permeates everything. including negative energies, if you know, it's dirty water, including the cells of your body. It carries pure divine love and special qualities that can assist ascension. Poseidon is in charge of the waters. Neptune is his elemental master and directs the undines, or the undines. Ask them to cleanse emotions, emotionally based illnesses, and relationship difficulties. Your guidance is to bless water everywhere to bring it to the fifth dimension. Ask Poseidon to link you to the music of the spheres, to access the sounds of your perfect divine blueprint and start to reinstate it. The affirmation is, water, I love you, bless you, and thank you. I direct you to spread love around the planet. So again, it's listen to dolphin and whale music I'm getting for that. To help you link yourself to your to the music of the spheres, because it's very similar. And plus we're talking about Poseidon, right? The dolphins and the whales. Alright, so now the past life deck, which has been making me cry a lot lately. So let's see what it brings up for FDR and JFK, if anything. And Marilyn. Alright, so from Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and let's bring them all into it. Marilyn Monroe, John F. Kennedy, and FDR. What would you like us to know? What would you like us to know? What are the messages here? It's February 18, 2019. For everyone watching, and the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Hold on. Alright. They're getting me because I asked for Mary and Jesus, and then I asked for 3 more people. So I have 4 piles of cards. Alright? So we have Celtic at the bottom here. Okay, this is the underlying energy. So it was shown to you reversed, so, and this is very, very much about the cross being a barrier to the portal. So to let that go, and it was, you know, we had losing my religion came up this week, so it's very much about that. And like I said in this card, it always looks like a Neanderthal on the cross, because they're very big with long arms. That's an old-fashioned idea, okay, to let go, lose your religion. Alright, so now we have 4 different answers here. And I'm going to leave them in the positions they came out in. So the first was Mary and Jesus. So we have these 3 cards that came out for Mary and Jesus. I'll show you them together. I'll separate them if I need to, okay? So you have the angels. Alright, again, we're getting not to travel or leave, okay? So there may be a warning, but also someone may have had to cancel it. And we have Asia here, not to go to Asia. Or Tibet, I was getting, because Tibet came up today. Because they're reversed. It's saying not to travel. And make sure you take your angels with you. And I'm getting the Asia, the Orient's very stern. Don't be overconfident in traveling. And I'm getting Egypt as well. The Orient and Egypt, specifically Tibet. Anything else? I'm getting someone falling down a well. No, Wizard of Oz and a tornado. And like the traveling salesman, right? Wasn't he someone traveling salesman knocking at the door before she got whizzed off? Calling all angels. The Dalai Lama. I'm leaving on a jet plane. I'm getting not to. But somebody's all excited to go somewhere. Hope it's not the Dalai Lama. But those energies are coming up for this. And remember to stay detached no matter what the situation is. You know, it is what it is. I'm getting an inverted pyramid found underground. An inverted pyramid, like a reflection of the Egyptian Great Pyramid, found underground, but inverted. Just like in the movie, you know how the glass pyramid in France was underground in the opposite direction? I'm getting the same, but under the ground. But I'm definitely getting that traveling salesman, from, you know, knocking it. I don't know if it's just the doctor or whatever, but I'm getting that energy of the traveling salesman knocking on the door in The Wizard of Oz, and then the hurricane. And then angel for travel, you know. Alright, so let's get on to the next. I got 4 of them here. It's going to take a bit. I have to bring in these messages. So who did I say second? I believe it was Marilyn Monroe first, and then JFK, and then FDR was last. So this is for Marilyn Monroe, or from her. And this is the 3, how they came up. We have Galactic, High Priest or Priestess, and High Priest or Priestess, and trees reversed. It's reminding you that when you do a lot of ethereal work, it ungrounds you, to make sure you ground yourself. Because very ungrounded if you do a lot of, you know, if you're not only in meditation, but in, not bilocating, but the same thing. I can't think of the word, and that's what I wanted to bring up earlier. Remote viewing. Okay, so when you learn remote view to figure out things from pictures and stuff, you can get the energy from the picture, from a symbol, and that's how they do like detective work. But that's what I was bringing up earlier, but it's coming back up here again, the remote view. But when you do remote viewing, not only traveling in space when you're meditating, but if you're doing remote view, it's very ungrounding. So make sure you ground yourself very well after doing those things. I'm getting this differently. Like I was getting Mary and Jesus, and then the 3 other groups, but I'm actually now getting, the first one was from Jesus, and this is from Mary Magdalene, and then this 3rd pile will be from Marilyn and JFK together, and then the 4th one from FDR. That's what I'm getting. So this being from Mary Magdalene, just reminding you to connect to your galactic sisters, your high priests or priestesses, but make sure to ground yourself, very important. Especially when there's no sun. When the sun's not breaking through. Make sure to ground. Alright, let's see what comes up here. This is Marilyn and JFK. Alright, authority figures, imprisonment or slavery, and finances. Right? It's all about money and the system. Basically that he was owned They were both in prison. And it's always about money and dark justice system, the people they were connected to. I'm getting their it was just about the government and how he was owned. There's no way he could have gotten out of that marriage. You know, it was about money. And, you know, he was the president. But he was, you see, all three cards are reversed. Both of them were very imprisoned by money and the justice system. Between them, but also within their own lives. And even her, because she was very driven. Marilyn. And she had information on, you know, the judges. It could be judges I'm getting. There was like no happy and ever after ending here at all. There was, I'm getting, this is what it means when you say no way out. There was no way out, only up. And that's why they both died. And now this is for FDR. Ah, this was similar to yesterday. I don't know if these three came out together, but two of them did. Alright, so we have again biblical. This is for FDR. Biblical, Greco-Roman, and then transportation again is upside down. Now, if I miss something obvious, I'm terrible when it comes to history and political stuff, so if I miss something, please comment below. To look for FDR, to look up and read, I didn't bring up his stuff because there's a lot of stuff about his, you know, obviously he was in for like 3 to 4 terms, so to look up if you're interested to see about all the things that he did while he was in office. FDR. And 32 came up. He was the 32nd president, and 32 is that 6 of Wands. He was a very hard worker. He was a very humble servant and creative. And he never traveled by train. I'm getting a bomb. Something's a ticking time bomb. He's saying that now. FDR is saying now the government now is a ticking time bomb ready to explode. So funny. So what's our advice? Be creative. Find solutions to your problems. And if you don't switch tracks when you're supposed to, your track will turn over and flip you off. When he was talking about finding solutions to your problems, it was really getting to me, because he really wants that to be heard. The area that I live in, I know that our school, the area isn't as good as it used to be when my parents, I'm still in the same area where I grew up with my parents, and when they moved here, it was, you know, one of the best places to go to school when they moved. And now it's gone down a lot because a lot of the city has kind of migrated out to where we are. And but just because of that, the school system is so well integrated, because there's so many different cultures in the school, that the kids who come from that school are like, they become, you know, they win the awards for problem solving internationally. I mean, it's, so he wants us to understand that. It's important to be amongst everyone, so we can all learn from each other. And he says, and I want to have a Lincoln Memorial. Really funny. Didn't know he was funny. He says, not fair. I want a Lincoln Memorial. Not enough that his face is on a mountain? What do you say about that? Well, we all have our likes and dislikes, is what I'm getting. Really funny. Okay. Like, so transportation is not coming up in general in a good way here, because we have two different things upside down. But if you don't get off your track in time, you will get thrown off track. Okay. Now we have Journey of Love. Sorry, it's an extra long one. It's 117:11. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. All right. Clear and align. So again, from all of you, what do you need us to know? Mary and Jesus, Marilyn, John F. Kennedy, and FDR, please. Today is February 18, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. What is it we need to know, everyone? What is it we need to learn? What is your advice from all of you? Alright, I'm not going to read all of them. Alright, so coming together is the bottom, number 66. 66 is the Queen of Pentacles. Coming together. And the very first card that came out is 19, Shakti, which is very much, 19 is the sun, but it's very much a mixture about feminine and masculine, because Shakti is feminine, and 19 of the sun is masculine. It's very lower chakras from the solar plexus down, because we have all those reds, orange, and yellows. Then we have the bride offers herself. That's number 43, which is the Three of Cups coming together, which was just the underlying energy. And by the way, they gave me 5 cards this time, so there'd be no confusion. So we have Shakti for Jesus. 43 is the bride offers herself, obviously Mary Magdalene. Then we have Marilyn Monroe is Let the Feminine Lead the Way, which is 39. Then we have JFK, Sacred Convergence, number 28, the twins, Two of Wands. And the last one came out 2 for FDR. which is burning hero and intimacy. How perfect. 35 is intimacy. He's referring back to Mary Magdalene and the love of a good woman. And then 3, which is burning hero, which is the Empress. You can be the wounded warrior, Mary Magdalene, and the Empress all at once. And that's for FDR. Did he like burgundy? Because I'm getting that. That's weird. Wine. I'm getting a... can't think of the name of this pink. I don't know if it's called rose pink. There's something else I'm thinking I can't get though. But this rose pink, there's some colors of wines that he liked, and it had an affinity to. So that's what I was getting for him. His partner was his burning hero. I'm getting the intimacy between them. Being, you know, he was in a wheelchair. It was beautiful, he says. And you see both of these cards that he got have like the couple both inside the vortex. Check it out. It's so beautiful, the intimacy between them. And I love that because all the colors are represented. One card has all of the lower chakra colors and the other card has all the upper chakra colors. You complete me. That's what I'm getting again. Thank you, FDR. That was beautiful. So beautiful. I'm not going to read his because I think he just wanted me to bring them out like that. And we have 4 other cards here. So even if I read those 4, it's a lot. So Shakti is 19. And I opened to 18, which is today's day, which is distant shores. So some of you may be going to distant shores. 19 is Shakti. Shakti is divine feminine fire. She is the body awakened with light. She is the divine feminine, and she is the kundalini, the energetic force that moves through us, triggered by love that leads to enlightenment of our body. With our kundalini coming alive within us, we cannot remain as we once were. It is impossible. We may try to lead the same lives, be the same in our relationship patterns, and perhaps even behave properly, but it simply cannot be done. Soon our disguise slips and people wonder, what happened to her, or what's gotten into him? We are on fire with the divine and we cannot help but misbehave. We are no longer satisfied with trying to be the good child or fearing we are the bad child. We know ourselves instead to be the divine child. The child divine lives fully and with passionate fire, not doing things the way they're supposed to be done perhaps, but by living instead from the heart. Our body may ache as we burn through old pain, and sometimes the light within may seem so bright it blinds us for the moment, but that will pass and the misbehaving will suddenly be seen for what it is. The old rules just don't fit anymore. You don't plug a globe capable of illuminating the whole world into the bedside reading lamp without burning down the house. Burning down the house. Best to let, and I'm getting to let the dogs out again too. Best to let that light shine as it was meant to in the big arena. Shakti is making your light grow, beloved. Be prepared to shine brighter. This oracle card brings you a message. You're going through energetic shifts in your subtle anatomy. Because your energy body and physical body have already begun to merge with each other, the energetic shifts will affect your physical body too. It is always wise to consult a healthcare practitioner, but at least some of your physical challenges at the moment, from aches and pains to tiredness, are due to this energetic awakening. Take responsible action as you feel necessary, such as tending to your physical well-being with health care that feels supportive, but also remember to rest, get some time in nature, and nurture your body as it is spiritually awakening into greater light. And the poem reads, we did talk about how important grounding was today. I have watched you hurting and felt helpless to make life better for you. Loving you is having to make choices to let you be who you are, who you become, and all the who's yet to come. To love you is to ride the waves of your passionate embrace of life, ever mindful of the change in the wind and the occasional tempest brewing. Loving you is having to make choices, knowing it isn't my fault. I can still choose to take it personally, or just be, while I listen and watch you unfold. Your heart is a beauty I will always love. It is the part of you that hasn't changed much over time. When I lie beside you and hear you breathe, when I touch your skin or caress your hair, you are timeless, and I choose loving you. I was getting like JFK saying this to Marilyn Monroe. It was from Jesus and Mary, though, so it might actually be Jesus saying it to Mary Magdalene. Or for them both. 43. Alright, this one's definitely... this one's for Marilyn Monroe. The bride offers herself. What did I get? No, I'm sorry. The first one was Jesus. The second one is Mary Magdalene. There's a sacred offering taking place, an offering of divine feminine. She is offering herself to the mystery unfolding. This may manifest in a physical way in that a woman of great feminine wisdom is offering herself to you in friendship, love, spiritual companionship, or service in some way. This may manifest in a spiritual gift from Divine Mother in the form of a life circumstance or situation, whether it's immediately recognized as a gift or not. To accept this offering as a bridegroom accepting his bride with love, reverence, and respect will bring good fortune. This oracle offers you a message. Accept what is being offered now, whether through challenge or an easing of the way forward. There's a gift of grace from the Divine Feminine reaching for you now. Allow her in and be blessed. This oracle also heralds a time of importance in relationship. You've been revealing yourself and not being afraid of who and what you are, sharing yourself in willingness to connect. Your vulnerability and beauty is acknowledged and will attract the response you need at the perfect time and in the perfect way. Every bride shall have her bridegroom, and that was the message from Mary Magdalene. How careful we must be close, how fragile we must feel, how sad not to be when someone is real. To say approach with caution when we already know that inside there's a likeness and experience goes slow. So know that, it might take some time. So be patient. As she was very, very patient. Alright. The bride offers herself. Okay, and I'm sorry, that first one was from Jesus for sure, okay? Alright, for 39 is the next one for Marilyn. But Jesus was, I was getting definitely Marilyn and JFK when under Jesus's card. So I was, it's like, Jesus is saying, of course, it's all of us. So 39 is the feminine lead the way, and this is from Marilyn. The feminine principle in you, whether man or woman, is the way forward in your life now. She is the principle of feeling and surrender. She feels the intelligence of the divine guiding light in a way that the masculine principle cannot at this time. You may not see where you're going, therefore, but you can feel your way forward. Trust her. Let your mind go and let your senses lead you, becoming more exquisite and communicative. Be led by your heart. Don't worry if you don't know all the details yet, or how it's going to work out. She knows the way. Let her lead. This oracle brings confirmation to you that what you've been feeling or sensing, even without logical, physical evidence, is worth following up on. Trust your senses over appearances. Trust your intuition over your intellect. You are letting feminine wisdom guide you, and she will steer you in the best direction. She's saying that if JFK had listened to her and left no matter what for love, that he may not have died. The poem reads from her. My coming out is the freedom to fully be who I am, and the surrender to the divine essence expressing through and around me. My coming out is the marriage of twin souls with my life partner, in gratitude, in love, unfolding as more than we could ever be on our own. Alright, so now let's see what John has to say. 28. Alright, this is JFK. Sacred Convergence, number 28. There's a coming together happening within your body and soul, a unification of all that is within you. This is akin to traveling to a strange land, as all sorts of new sensations, not all welcome at first, begin to make themselves known to you. If you experience discomfort within your own body, or uncertainty and a sense of expansion to include more of life in your thoughts and feelings, then you are conscious of this sacred convergence. It is like two worlds or more colliding. If you are sensitive, you will feel it happening as an important event without necessarily having a physical situation to attribute the experience to or upon which to hang an explanation. You may also be encountering this in a very physical sense by finding yourself in situations which you previously would have avoided. You may be meeting people and thrown into relationship with them, apparently more by circumstance than by your own conscious choosing. This is a meeting of you with your shadow, and something to rejoice in, even if it is uncomfortable at times. Be gentle and loving with yourself, and kindly seek to find the beauty in what you are learning about yourself in your interactions and experiences. You are a wise soul, seeking to know yourself rather than judge others. Remember your divine perfection, as you are thrilled and challenged in this time of great growth. You are guided to be curious, as though traveling to a foreign land, and remaining open to experiencing its treasures. This oracle holds a message for you. A deeper part of yourself is calling you forward. Any discontent, struggle, anxiety, or fear is a subconscious recognition of this. Don't worry, you are a unique plant in the divine garden. You don't have to know what plant you are in order to grow. You just need to live each day, and the growth happens naturally. Then you can see over time the beauty of your true nature revealing itself to you. It will be a revelation to be relished. So he's referencing as Marilyn being his reflection. And, of course, it was meant to be, it happened. But that he didn't choose himself first. The poem reads, from the white foam, as opposed to the White House, from the white foam on a surface of blue, to the mysteries beneath the waves, wherever your travels may lead, may the artist's touch inspire us to explore the ocean realm and celebrate the beauty, as land gives way to water, and water to the unknown. Okay. The great depths of the emotions, and having fear of the unknown. When you allow your feelings and you go through the purge, how do you end up? You're no longer scared of the unknown. Right? Once you've died, which he did, because the pain of Marilyn for him was so strong, he already understood what it meant to be dead. So when those emotions, right, the ocean realm and celebrate the beauty as land gives way to water. So as their lives gave way to their emotions, and their emotions to the unknown, look at what it created in the stories of their lives, now told. I'm saying to look at the beauty in the artist's touch that inspire us, all of the stuff that came out of it. So much beauty and inspiration. But there's always something good in everything, he's saying. All right, I went really long today, so sorry about that. Okay, rise and be loved, guys. Drink your water.